Hi there, it's Jennifer McGuire. Today I want to show you how you can get more out of your die cutting supplies by using them for things other than paper crafting. I'm going to show you how to create your own personalized or custom t-shirt designs. This all started with me wanting to make some shirts for my son's baseball team with the team's name and the player's number on it. I sponsor their team, my business does, and so I thought this would be a fun gift for them. I also decided to make a dress for my daughter. She turned 3, and I thought she would love a dress that had some sparkly letters that said 3 on it. Now, for my examples, I used letters to make words, but you could use any dies you have, like hearts or stars or flowers, to add interest to either t-shirts, or you could put it on pillows or anything that's fabric. Okay, so the product that I decided to use is this product from Silhouette. This is meant to use with the Silhouette electronic die cut machine, but it works great for die cutting too. There are several different types of heat transfer material. There's this kind that's fuzzy, which I love, the flocked, but they also have the smooth, there's glitter, there's all different types. Now the instructions for using it are on the back, and I encourage you to check those instructions and go buy those. I'm going to show you how I did it here, and it seems to be working fine, but I encourage you to check the instructions. This example here is the flocked heat transfer, and this is how it comes. There's a clear coating on the pretty flocked side, and then you can see the other side is what fuses to your fabric. So there's that clear coating over the flocked side, but we will remove that later after it's stuck to our shirt. Now I am using some letter dies from My Favorite Things today. These are very large letter dies. They're sold individually, and I thought these were perfect for adding like a bold name to these shirts. I'm also planning to use these letter dies for school bulletin boards, party decorations, and school projects. So you'll see me use these again in the future. So now I'm going to go ahead and take the die and put it on the pretty side of this heat transfer material. So on the side with the clear plastic and the flocking underneath it. So I'm running this through my die cut machine. It cuts through it beautifully, no problems at all. And you can see that the other side is kind of a bluish gray. That is what will fuse to our shirts. And we have the pretty side facing up. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut all the letters for the team name from this. Now, if you don't have large letter dies like these, you could also print large letters on the computer, on paper, and trace them onto your material and cut them out if you want to. Or you can use an electronic die cut machine to create them. I just find these wafer thin dies are very handy to have. I purchased inexpensive t-shirts from Old Navy. They were just a few dollars, but I know you can get inexpensive shirts on Amazon also, or you can recycle one. Now I have it onto an ironing board laid out smooth, and I'm putting my first row of letters down where I want them to be. I'm completely eyeballing it. You could use a yardstick or whatever to make sure they're straight and perfect. I'm just eyeballing it. I don't think 9-year-old boys are going to care too much. Now I'm taking a cloth and putting it over the bottom half of my letters because I want to be able to see those top of those letters and make sure they don't shift. Then I just put one press down with my hot iron to kind of start the sticking process. But then I remove it to make sure I'm still happy with where they are because sometimes they like to shift. And I'm going to do this again until they all start to stick enough and I'm sure they're sticking in the right spot. Now I have my iron set to the cotton setting. However, I encourage you to read the instructions on the heat transfer material and use whatever settings they tell you to use. This is what worked for me. For the cloth that I'm using between the letters and my iron, I'm just using a piece of scrap fabric that I had. On the instructions, it said to use a cloth, so you can determine what might work best for you. So now I know that all my letters are where that I want them to be. So I'm taking my iron and moving it around and giving it lots of heat and pressure. I think the instructions say to do 45 to 60 seconds. I don't think I did that long. I just kept moving the heat around because I was afraid I would damage something. I don't think you need to worry about that, but I was being cautious. So now I noticed the top of my T up here wasn't transferring completely, so I'm going to add some more pressure there. So I just stop every once in a while and check my letters, make sure they're starting to stick. And once I feel like they've all transferred onto the t-shirt, I just let it cool for a while. So while that cools, I'm going to go ahead and do my second row of letters here the very same way. Again, you could maybe use masking tape to make sure you get these lined up right or some sort of straight edge. I'm just eyeballing it. So now I have my row down. I'm going to take my cloth and just put it over half. The reason I only put it over half is so I can see the other half of the letters and make sure they're not shifting. Now, if you had smaller die cuts, like smaller letters or a little heart, you wouldn't have to do this because chances are they won't shift because they're smaller. You can just be careful, which you'll see in my next example. So I'm just kind of stuck them down a little bit with a little bit of heat, make sure I have them where I want them. Then I'm carefully dropping that cloth on top, and now I'm going to add the heat and the pressure. You can see I'm pressing pretty firmly because you can see my ironing board actually give when I press down. Once the letters are cool to the touch, you can go ahead and remove the clear protective coating that's on the flocked surface. This peels off very easily, and you end up with that nice kind of fuzzy green lettering, and it's really quite sharp. And the letters stick nicely to the shirt. Now, when I wash this, I turn it inside out and run it through the washing machine and dryer, and I haven't had any problems with it, but I encourage you to check what the manufacturer says about care, but I haven't had any trouble. I also decided to add some small numbers to the bottom for the player's number. So this is the black, I think it's the black flocked heat transfer material. This doesn't have as much flocking to it, so I encourage you to check out all the different types of materials that Silhouette has. They're all a little bit different, so you can have some fun with the variety. I'm using some smaller number dies from My Favorite Things to cut these, and you can see once again they cut beautifully. So I decided to position this down underneath the S, and I'm going to lay my cloth over it and press down. Again, since these are smaller letters, I don't worry as much about them moving, so I don't keep checking them over and over again. I just apply the heat until it sticks. And then I remove the clear, and you can see this is a more of a velvety flock. It's a little more subtle than the green, and I like that variety. So there's the shirt I made. I actually made 12 of these for the kids, and now the coaches want shirts too, so I gotta go back and make some more. Okay, next I wanted to show you this little dress I made for Lila with the words 3 and the heart. This is a little bit different because it is a glitter heat transfer. So I have some letter dies from My Favorite Things. These are a little bit smaller. And you can tell which side of this glitter heat transfer material is the correct side, the pretty side. It has the perfect shine to it. That's that clear coating that we'll remove later. So you want to die cut those letters. These were a little bit trickier to pop out, but I was able to do so. And now I have all my little letters. I decided only to do 2 letters at once because I didn't want to risk messing up as I did this. This is a little dress that was inexpensive from Old Navy. You could add these little die cuts onto any dress that you may already have just to give it a new life. And I'm just doing 1 letter at a time here. And this glitter transfer material, which is also from Silhouette, works just the same as the flocking. So I'm just kind of sticking these down here, and then I will add more heat and pressure to make sure it really sticks to that dress. I also decided to use this heart die from My Favorite Things to die cut a little glitter heart, and I'm going to add that underneath the 3. I mean, I can only imagine all the fun possibilities that I have with the dies that I have, and we can use them on other projects in the future. I plan to make some canvas tote bags for my kids' teachers as end of the year gifts. Now, after I peeled off the clear coating, I also like to go back and add a little bit more heat with the cloth in between just to make sure that it sticks. And there you can see my cutie 3-year-old with her little custom shirt on. She's so excited about this. I hope you enjoyed this video showing another use for your dies, not just for paper crafting. If you're interested in the supplies I used, not the kids, but the supplies, they're linked below in the YouTube description, or you can head over to my blog at jennifermcguireinc.com. I always have more information there. I appreciate you stopping by, and I hope you'll return again soon.